Hello, welcome back to another episode of EC Orchid. This is Cam. Today I'm gonna be fixing this I would say almost dead Phalaenopsis ana-larati soekardi Wilsons. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this one if you saw my overview video, my collection overview video. This one, what happened was, I think I know what happened. I don't think it likes the outdoor sun that much. So when I hang it there by the avocado tree that I have here, what happened was there's too much sun and it didn't tolerate the sunlight. So it was growing fine until the sun hits it and the leaves started to fall off. I think there was some kind of rot as well. But the root system seems to be green and intact. So you can see the root system, it isn't that bad. Um, So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see if I can do water culture to get some basal keikis out of it. You can see here there was one basal keiki that grows out of here, and there is one right here. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get this orchids cleaned up, and I will transfer this to water culture. The reason for that is water cultures can actually help a lot of the sick orchids to give a little boost, a little bit of extra moisture that it needs. And also growing in water culture, I can bring this one indoor for the time being until it grows basal keiki for me. Uh, Now, I grow phals in the past and they grow really well when I was living in an apartment. But unfortunately, when I moved to this single house here, I got caught up with work and whatnot. Some of my Phalaenopsis did not like the environment outside. Therefore, I would say almost 90% of my files have gone to orchid heaven. So uh, be, before you guys judge me, please understand that you know, it's just nature of the orchids. Some will survive, some will not. Um, the reason why I named this channel Easy Orchid is so that I can show you guys how easy it is to grow orchid. It's not that complicated if you just give the extra care for it. Now, when you don't have time, there's different stories, and you grow indoors, different stories too. Indoor versus outdoor, there's a lot of different requirements, a lot of things you gotta look for. Um, One main thing when you're growing indoor is you have pathogens, bad bacteria can actually infect your orchid. When you go outdoors, the only thing you gotta watch out for is uh, the sun, pretty much. It can actually scorch your orchid, it actually burn it up. Um, and also growing outdoor, you have to water more frequent because there's a lot of air movement. Now that's one advantage and also a disadvantage. Air movement means the orchids will less likely to get bacteria infections because there's always air, which brings good bacteria and bacteria at the same time, and also bad bacteria at the same time. Therefore, your orchids will most likely survive whatever bacteria is being attacked by, and you wouldn't have to worry much about it. Let me go rinse off the root, and then we'll go ahead and put this in water culture, and I'll show you how much water I will put this in and whatnot. I'm not gonna clean all the dead root. I'm just gonna rinse up some of the what I call it organic matters on the roots so that it doesn't cause more bacteria infections later on. All right, so I got this orchid to rinse off most of the dead organic matters. The root are still pretty much greens and plum. It's a good sign. Some of the dry root, I don't worry too much about it. I know a lot of you guys say, well, why don't you use a pruner to prune it? To be honest, though, it doesn't really matter because these roots are already dead. I can just, uh, you know, take them out by hand. They work just fine. But if you want to use a pruner, by all means, use a pruner to prune it. Uh, Personally, though, I don't really mind the string of the root here, the stringy root. I don't really mind. Um, so I think I'm gonna leave it as it, and we'll see if it's gonna put out a basal keiki for me. Now this is a perfect pot to let it in, because you don't want a deep, you don't want a tall jar or vase or whatever container that you're gonna use. You do not want it to be really tall, extra tall. The reason for that is, first of all, this orchid doesn't have roots, and it doesn't have the leaf to span out to hang on top of the container that you'll be using. Therefore, if you are gonna put it in a container where it's kind of tall, you might want to put some wires here, wrap around it, or some kind of uh, um, mechanism that you can hang this orchid over the top of the jar or the container that you'll be using. This way, only the root will submerge into the water and not the base of the crown. This is the base of the crown. Um, so this is what I'm gonna do, and I will bring this orchids indoor. I don't have a setup indoor where I used to when I used to live in an apartment where I have some grow light, LED grow light, um, in a multi-tier racks. Basically, provide the light requirement that it needed for the orchids. Also, I had a little fan that provide air circulations. Now, keep in mind that when you're doing water culture, ventilation is an important key factors to prevent rot and bacteria infections. Like I said, without air movement, when you grow indoor, you are in a confined environment and you are subject to a lot of bad bacteria built up in that confined environment. So you must have some kind of air movement to move that air so that the bacteria doesn't stay in one location and can possibly infect your orchid. Now, I'm not gonna do full water culture on this particular one. I will do what I call semi-water culture, which means that I will let this orchid sit in the water for a day or two, okay, maximum 2 days, and then I will let it dry in between them, completely dry before I put water again. Now, that doesn't mean that you cannot do full water culture. You know, you could do full water culture, but you just have to change out the water regularly. It's the same method, but what I found out that orchids in the wild, they don't get soaked in the water every day, okay? They may get rain 2, 3 days in a row. Now, keep in mind, most of these orchids, especially Phalaenopsis, they live in a tropical area where it does get a lot of moisture at nighttime, where there's fogs and whatnot. There's going to be a lot of moisture in the air. So it does get about 6 to 8 hours of moisture at night. And by the time the sunlight comes up, it will dry up throughout the day. So a lot of the orchids will go through a wet, dry period almost daily. So if you know how it works, then you can mimic that environment to uh, try and provide for the orchids that you want to grow. Now this taxa is kind of a little dirty, but I think it's fine. I'm just gonna put it back into the container here so that I don't lose the tag. I don't have a lot of Phalaenopsis left. I think this one and the one that hang there, and one more in the room which I purchased recently for Christmas, and that's all the Phalaenopsis that I have. I mostly grow Cymbidium, Cattleya, and Laelia, and some other species that are easy to grow in my environment. Because I grow outdoors, so Phalaenopsis, they don't really do that well outdoor. They do if I provide them more shades, but maybe that's something that I need to work on in this summer. But to me right now, I like the way it is right now, and I might set up another grow rack for less light, more shade environment orchids. So we'll see. But for now, I would definitely bring this one inside. This is an experiment that I want to do with you guys. That's all. This orchid is not too far gone. I could easily get it to send out in the basal keikis if I just continue let it sit in the bottom rack there with less light. And by the summertime, it should grow keikis for me, but I want to speed up the process. Therefore, I'm gonna do it right now. Now, how much water to put, it really depends on you. I do semi-hydroponic, semi water culture. So in semi-water culture, if you're gonna let it dry in between, you could put more or less water. It really doesn't really matters. But I like it halfway. If you can see where the watermark is, pretty much halfway. Uh, from what I can see, it just barely touches the base of the stem, okay, or what you call it, the crown. So this is a good water level. I'm sorry if I didn't, if I don't have, if you guys see the water level. Next time I'll put some kind of dye in it. As a matter of fact, I could put something in there. Hold on, be right back. Okay, so I have this mycorrhizal powder that can technically give me the dye that I needed. Would it help for this particular orchid for mycorrhizal fungi? It might not, because orchids, I was told that it needs a different kind of mycorrhizal fungi. But this is what I have, and this is what I will use it to stain the water so that you guys know how it is. You don't need a lot, just a little bit like that, just a whole dab like that. That should be enough. So let me stain the water so you guys could see the water level. Okay. So basically, this is how much water you should put. Now that you can see it clearly. Okay, hopefully you guys can see it more clear how much water there is. So this is how much water there is right now. Okay, not sure you guys can see it. Hopefully you guys can see it. Okay, this is a water level. This is the water level that you want. Okay, now like I said, if you have this, by all means use it. How much benefit would you get? I have no idea, but it does help the root system to grow. I have not tried it on orchids, but I tried it on my gardens, and it does help. Okay, you can get this on Amazon if you want. I'm not promoting this product, by the way, but I just found this product really helpful when it comes to gardening. And so that's what I use in my gardens. And so the only reason why I use this is to show you how much water that you need. A lot of time, oftentimes, when you see it and you're like, oh, wow, the water level, I cannot really see it clear because it's clear water and this is a clear vase. And so I want to put some kind of dye in there. I don't want to put food coloring in there that potentially damage the root system, because food coloring might contain some kind of chemical that may be harmful for the orchid. So I put this instead. Um, it is a little. It has a little bit of potassium, magnesium, sulfur, and some kind of iron. So it does kind of help, give a little bit of mineral to the plant. So I don't see any harm using these products on this particular one. So so I will update you guys on this next time. Maybe in a few days, I will update you guys on this and how it's being doing. You do want to change out the water though, because you are putting this mycorrhizal fungi in it. Uh, you will need to change water more often. So you do not want this to be sitting in water for full water culture if you want to do full water culture. Now that given that I'm doing semi-water culture, this is fine because I would pour it out and I would just let it dry. If you don't, water can get a little bit of cloudy, a little bit of white mold. You might get scared because this is a mycorrhizal fungal, and you guys know that mycorrhizal fungi, it does send out a little bit of white fungus, or mushroom head. So don't be surprised if you do full water culture and you use this and you see some white stuff on top. Don't be surprised. Just change the water, rinse it, change it, you'll be fine. What kind of water I use? Well, I use filter water. Okay, water that's been sitting outdoor for about 2-3 days now, so it's been dechlorinated, and so I don't have to worry about chlorine destroying my orchids. Also, my water, my garden water has a filter. To me, the water straight from the water hose should be fine, just because I put a filter in it. If you don't have it, use all water, rainwater, or distilled water that you purchase from the store. Will be best for this particular grow environment, because you don't want contaminations. Contaminations just cause a lot of headaches for you in the long run. It will give you a lot more mold and a lot more fungus to grow within that media. So you want to avoid that. So this is it. I will update you in a few days when I take it out. But for now, this is what I'm going to have it sit in. I could put the water all on top and soak all the root if I wanted to. But I think this is fine. I don't need to soak the whole thing. I think this is just perfect. So hey, if you guys want to do water culture, by all means, do it. Phalaenopsis do really well in water cultures. I had them in water culture before. Before COVID, I have some orchids go in my office, and I just put them in water culture. They're full water culture and they go really well. They rebloom for me. But then again, I haven't been to my office in about 2 years, so I think those orchids already went to heaven. If you guys find this video helpful, please give a thumb up, subscribe to my channel, and also hit the notification bell so that you guys could receive notification when I upload new video. Thanks for coming by. See you next video.